today, Prime Minister Theresa May stated that maybe it's not such a great idea to share intelligence with US officials, considering the fact that there are members of Trump's administration who continuously leak information about investigations to US press.
Members of the administration, yes, members, including the main member of the administration.
Right, exactly, who apparently loves leaking information because he thinks he has the right to. Now, of course, there is an ongoing investigation in Britain right now regarding the recent terrorist attack during an Ariana Grande concert. And there are parts of that investigation that are sensitive and are classified. However, some of that information was leaked to the New York Times by American officials. And as a result, Theresa May said that maybe it's not such a great idea to share intel with Americans. Now, in a statement, Mrs. May's office said she would bring up the matter to a NATO gathering in Brussels on Thursday evening and would make clear to President Trump that intelligence that is shared between our law enforcement agencies must remain secure. May's statement followed expressions of outrage by top law enforcement officials after the New York Times published images on Wednesday of the shrapnel, backpack, and battery used by Salman Abedi, the 22-year-old bomber who killed 22 people and injured 64 outside the Manchester arena. Now, there is an update to this story. It is somewhat breaking. Apparently, Britain has decided to resume intelligence sharing with the United States after suspending the practice amid media leaks by American officials. Apparently, they're doing this because of fresh assurances that we are now working closely with our key partners around the world, including all those in the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance. The US, UK, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand share intelligence in one of the world's tightest multilateral agreements, or arrangements, I should say. All right, so I guess they're gonna share intel, but
There was no threat of him not sharing intel, but it was a sign that the Trump administration leaks like a sieve, and many times intentionally, because they can't get Donald Trump to do anything. So I don't know if that was the case here. But now Trump, of course, and Jeff Sessions want to investigate the leaks, as if when you don't have to go much farther than the Oval Office to investigate some of the biggest leaks. But yes, the special relationship between Great Britain and the United States continues, despite a story that we're not getting to because the day is filled with news, despite Trump giving his speech today, and despite assurances from White House officials really not in any way mentioning or supporting Article 5, the key component of NATO, further sort of apparently throughout Western Europe, to some extent shockwaves, but certainly some despair and concern that Trump is not fully committed to exercising the key component of NATO, which means coming to the defense of partners.
Right, exactly, because he feels that they're not paying their fair share, right?
And this is a person who hasn't paid their taxes.
And has filed for bankruptcy.
Yeah,
look, there are a lot of leaks coming from the White House right now, and it does put some relationships with our closest allies in jeopardy, and everything's been a complete disaster. Like whether it's policy proposals coming from the Trump administration or, we didn't even get to the story about the COO within the education department just flat out quitting. He had a 5-year contract that began under the Obama administration. He's like, I can't work with Betsy DeVos. She's forcing me to testify that the federal government is giving out too much money in student loans. I'm sorry, student aid, not loans.
Right.
And he's like, no, I'm not gonna testify, that's ridiculous.
Did you guys do Ben Carson yesterday?
And then there's the Ben Carson story, which we will get to today, where he says, poverty is just, it's a state of mind. It's not really a thing. It's just, if you are a Trump supporter who's watching this show, first of all, I respect you for watching this show, because we bashed on him quite a bit.
Thanks, Drew, become a member.
Yeah, become a member. But secondly, what's wrong with you? Like what more do you need? What more do you need? What more do you need? Okay, there are people in the White House right now who are leaking information to reporters because Trump is a disaster, right? They can't work with him. No one seems to really like him. His approval rating is incredibly low. He's causing all this trouble with NATO allies. He's causing all this trouble with, pretty much any country with his loose talk and his misunderstanding or lack of understanding of any type of political issue. Like he's so incredibly uneducated on the issues, and it's translating into a disaster.
Yeah, he in effect undermines everything that he sets forth as you know, an agenda, and just particularly about counterterrorism, which was one of his major platforms. Like that relies on sharing information, right? Like in a way that can be trusted. And if you can't do that, then it completely undermines our ability to fight terrorism internationally. So
it's devastating. But look. At least Britain has decided to continue sharing intel. It is important that we work together, and we'll see how this goes in the future. But again, these leaks have started from day one, and I just don't see them stopping. And by the way, anyone who's criticizing the New York Times for reporting on the information that they received through the leaks, yeah, that's what journalists do.
Yeah, and they checked. They're not. There was no. If it jeopardizes an invest, they withhold stuff all the time.
They do. Yes.
If you're a member of the Young Turks, you not only get the whole 2-hour Young Turks show on demand anytime you want, ad-free, but you also get so many other shows. Old School, you'll love it. Aggressive Progressive for guys who are true progressives. Now also Nerd Alert for gaming and tech. What the Flick for movie reviews. You will love it. Check it out right now at tytnetwork.com/join.